so we're here at the Uke Room in Longhope near Ross-on-Wye, and I've got Matt Stead with me here, who is the proprietor of the Uke Room, and we're going to have a quick chat about the shop and the place and what he does. So Matt, first I wanted to get an idea, a little bit about yourself, your ukulele background. I know you do some teaching, but what led you to opening the shop?
It was a long and winding road, but I'll make it short. Don't worry, Simon. So I've always had like a love for the ukulele. When I used to play in kind of indie bands in the end of the 90s, and we used to play kind of all over the place, especially around London when I was living in and around London. And I just got fed up of carrying like a massive acoustic guitar on the tube and on the overground and stuff. It was a real hassle. So when the band split up and I went solo, I started doing some gigs using just the ukulele. And that was about 20 years ago. Of course, like back then it was before the big boom. So it was kind of a bit of a novelty. Everyone was like, oh, what's that really small guitar, that you carried in your backpack? And there's only a little mahalo, soprano, but it did the job. So I kind of got into it by accident that way through the band. And then where we used to record for A Fine Day for Sailing, which was one of my bands, was below the site that eventually became the Duke of Uke. So just before I left London, that was all sort of up and coming. So yeah. I got to know the ukulele through those people, and we literally used to record in the studio right below the shop on Brick Lane. So I kind of got into it through that way, and I started teaching way back when in London before everyone was really into it. So I felt a bit of a charlatan at first because I came from guitar and I felt like I didn't know that much on uke, but neither did anyone else back then.
I think it transfers very well.
Yeah. So I used to do just like one-to-one tuition, and then that developed into evening classes and things like that. And really the Uke Room, I always had this dream of having a music shop, because I did once own a bookshop in Exeter, but that's a whole different story. So I always dreamed about having a music shop again. And then when I hired the space at Hart's Barn, which was near to where I was living when we moved out west, I originally hired it just for a teaching space because I got fed up of students coming in and tripping over boxes of cornflakes at the kitchen table with the kids. And then my students just started asking for ukuleles, something above the kind of beginner level. So I started with 6 ukuleles on my wall. And then when I sold those, I reinvested and that became 12. And it's kind of like accidentally, I've gone from 6 ukuleles to about 160
yeah.
in the space of 2 years. It's a happy accident.
I think the teaching's worth pointing out. Matt's got a load of videos on YouTube and Facebook. You need to look them up. He's a brilliant teacher who explains things really clearly. You've made something click for me, which is, with me, that's a good trick because I get bored quickly, and I'm not a theorist. So brilliant job.
Oh, thanks, Simon. Yeah, I genuinely think it takes quite a while to learn to become a good teacher. I sometimes look back at those first lessons I did, a long time ago, and I think, oh goodness, did people get value for money? But the more you do it, the more you become quite natural about it. And it's really rewarding for me. I love seeing people, develop of all levels. It's great.
Yeah. So onto your music a bit, because one of the first albums I reviewed was The Wend, and I loved that. It's really nice sort of bass twists and things, sort of jazzy, I don't know what you call it, but anyway. And you did that with Rob Ash, brilliant. And what is that genre of music? And have you got plans for doing any more?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, me and Rob go back to bands from like when I started playing ukulele way back when. We used to play in garage bands together, playing kind of loud rock music. Right. I think I'm just a bit of a melancholy soul, to be honest, and I hate my own voice, which is ironic because I used to be lead singer in a band, but I don't like my own voice. So I kind of, when I play ukulele at home, it's always kind of melancholic, kind of instrumental music, and that style kind of just developed naturally from there. And I guess in the last few years, I've got interested in jazz music, and it's kind of all my influences over the years have all kind of just infiltrated in, and it's ended up with that kind of quiet instrumental music is how I play it. People have described it almost as like filmic music, like you could imagine it in the background of like a, don't know, like a moody Swedish film or something like that.
There was sort of some 70s cop spy type stuff in there with a really sort of heavy bass thing going on. It was brilliant.
Exactly, that's it. When I really got into writing my own music on ukulele as opposed to guitar, it was more in recent years, and it was when we had our first kids. And I used to play quietly downstairs without wanting to wake up our little baby Sandy upstairs. And I think that's just how I play at home, and it's kind of just naturally developed that way. So that's how I kind of take it into the studio. But yeah, we've got so many plans, Simon. I'm really hoping to get back into it. I've got tons of songs written for a new album. I've just not got round to it. Poor Rob broke his leg last year, and that kind of put us back a bit. And then obviously this year we've had COVID and everything, so it's all just hit the back burner. But I'm hoping to get it going again soon.
Good, hope so. So moving on to the shop, what's your sort of general aim with the shop? What sort of ukes and accessories do you offer? What sort of character has the shop got?
So I guess it's kind of developed again, almost like a happy accident, but we tend to sell mostly ukes that are between, say, £200 upwards towards, you know, some of the most expensive ones are a couple of grand, but the ones that we sell most of are in that kind of £200 to £800 bracket. So people who have learned on a more starter instrument, but they're feeling they want a kind of a slightly better quality solid wood ukulele. I'm not snobby at all. I love beginner instruments. I played on a beaten up Mahalo for 3 years and I love it. So, but it's kind of for people who want to go that step beyond, but maybe they're not quite in that proper boutique market where you're talking like 3-4 grand for some of the customs. So we sell a lot of things like Ponos, Canaleas. Flights have really taken off in the last few months that we've been doing a lot of. Obviously the lava ukes, which we'll talk about later. But that's kind of the rough level we sell most of, really. And I'm really passionate about finding the right ukulele for the right person. So
that's the important thing.
If someone is aiming for a starter instrument or something around, you know, even around £150, I won't try and sell them a £2,000 Canalea. I'll help them find what works for them. So that's really important to me.
Good. Okay, so we'll talk about lava ukes in a second, just hold on for that. But if you had to have just one ukulele for yourself, forget the shop now, but you had to have one ukulele for yourself, but although we're buying it from your shop, which one would it be?
That's so hard, Simon, it's so difficult. But I tell you what, I'm going to pick one. I'm going to stand up, hang on. This is my favourite one at the moment, just because it's absolutely beautiful. It's a Cocobolo ukulele from NFC Ukuleles. It's a guy called, I'm probably going to pronounce this horribly wrong, Nesto Guillermo, I think it's pronounced, in Nicaragua. But he does these beautiful, they're just so glossy and gorgeous Cocobolo ukes. And it's, you know how I like that kind of melancholic, kind of filmic way of playing?
Yeah.
It's got that real kind of mellowness to it. Just kind of that really dreamy sort of sound. So that's my favourite one at the moment, Simon. It's my
nice
Cocobolo. So this is the one where every day I come in the shop I think, must not take home. Must leave for customers.
That's my sort of style as well, is gloss, because I tend to thrash out ukes, so I have to have gloss because they're a bit harder that way. So
it just really makes them pop as well, doesn't it? Like the finish and everything.
Yeah. So I wanted to come on to the lava. We've been talking a lot about this recently, and I've reviewed this just recently. So I'm quite excited about this, and I like the red because it's pretty showy, and I love the handling and the radius fretboard, which you don't get on many ukes really. So I like the red, and this is concert size. Which one? What do you think? And what would you go for?
Let's have a look, Simon. Wow! This is my magic, it's turned blue.
See how we did that?
To be honest, I'm a Swindon Town fan, so I should have the red one as well. But there is something cool about ocean blue, isn't there? And this is the tenor version as well. So in concert blue, in ocean blue even. But I've been totally blown away with these since they came in, Simon. It's just like
They're cool.
They're just like something from the space age, aren't they? You have this amazing kind of pod case, and they're just so warm and so lovely. I like to say it's really tactile, isn't it? Like the finish, it feels really lovely to play.
It's got a bit of a boxy sound, I think, but I quite like that. It gives it a bit of it's a weird sort of bassy depth to it. It's nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of marketing speak around it, but I think one of the things they talk about is kind of they wanted the sound to be as warm as possible. So even though it's got that kind of it doesn't sound like a wooden uke, but it's got its own charm, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's deeper than a lot of kind of plastic or polycarbonate ukes that I've played before. It's got like a real low end to it,
yeah.
which is really lovely. Apparently it was designed especially that way. I don't know whether it's the size of it or, they experimented with the thickness of the material and whatnot, but it's super cool.
Might be something to do with the rounded back, because rounded backs I've always found make quite a difference. I've got a little soprano, and it's a travel soprano by Bruco with a rounded back, but it's one of the loudest ukes I've got. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the same with a lot of those ones with the plastic backs. The flight travel ukes are like that as well. They've got the round back and they really pack a punch. I think it definitely helps. Yeah. Something to do with the dynamics. Some of the physics of these things are a bit beyond me, Simon, but I just love the sound they make.
Yeah, well, it's I think it's my open mic uke now, because it's good and showy, and it's good fun. The little effects are good, and it's great when you turn to someone and you say, "No, I don't want any reverb. I'll do it myself. Thank you very much." You just do it yourself on the uke, and they go, "Whoa."
I thought they were like witchcraft when they first came in. Somebody told me about them and was saying, yeah, they work with effects, but you don't plug them in. And I was thinking, well, how's that possible? Because you need some form of electricity or something. But it's kind of clever. It's like the whole ukulele reverberates, doesn't it? And that's kind of works as a mini speaker. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's magic. And it charges on USB, and it's all self-contained. So you don't really have that hassle with batteries all the time. It's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can recharge it. Yeah, super cool.
Okay, so you're in this lovely craft centre here. So for the more devious amongst us, I could take Mrs. T out for a coffee and go, oh look, ukulele shop. So I wondered if that works for you, because mate, do you get people just dropping in going, what's all this ukulele stuff about? Does that happen as well?
It does happen, and you were talking about a range earlier. We've bought a lot more beginner ukes in, just because we do get drop-in trade, and some people just say, oh, I'm just really interested, if you've got like a 30 quid one I can take to learn on. So we've started doing that. But the tea rooms are lovely. We've got lovely old tea rooms on site. We've got a cookery school as well. And when we do our big annual ukulele retreat, they help out with the food and everything.
Oh, okay.
So we do get a lot of couples come down, and one of them it works both sexes, so I'm not being sexist. It works both ways. One of the couples quite often just sit and eat their lunch and a cup of tea in the tea rooms, whilst the other will come and sit and play ukuleles for an hour and try lots of things out. So it works brilliantly like that. And it's lovely because the kind of ukulele shops where you have the more kind of middle and high end stuff, there's only a few of us in the country. So people tend to travel quite far to us and the other ones. So it's quite nice when they've travelled that they can come and eat their lunch in the tea rooms, and then, come along after a cup of coffee and come and see us, which is good.
It's a proper day.
And live next to a beautiful
Proper day out.
House.
Proper day out, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Come and see us in the Forest of Dean.
That's it. Brilliant. Well, it's been brilliant talking to you. I've got one more question, Matt. How many cats have you got?
Really, really sorry, Simon, but we haven't got any. But my little girl is nagging away, so who knows, it could become one before too long.
Good, all right. Well, it's been lovely talking to you, and I wish you all the best with the shop. So I'll put all the website details, but do you want to quickly run through that? just now, and I'll put that
Oh
on.
yeah. If anyone's interested, so our website is theukeroom.com, all undercase. THEUKEROOM.com, and you can get hold of me on matt@theukeroom.com, matt@theukeroom.com. All details are on there, all our events and all our stock and everything as well. So and come and see us. We're opening up by appointment only on Wednesdays, so you can come along and try things out now.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Matt, and hope to see you soon.
Absolute pleasure. Cheers, Simon.
Cheers.